I'm Bermuda, and this is FWF Air. If this is your first time to the channel, it's great to meet you, and I hope you enjoy this video, and hopefully you'll want to fly with us at some point in the near future when we have our first group flight. And we hope to have a virtual airline running up very soon. If you've been with us before and flown with us on a previous flight, welcome back. Always great to see you again. Please say hi in the comments and I'll always try and reply. Okay, so welcome to Culross Navy Air Base in the southwest of England. If you was with us on the last flight, you will know that we transported some very urgent military hardware here in quite bad weather. It was our third flight of the day and I wasn't feeling very well, so my business partner Vix flew, and we got some very kind words from the contact at the MOD base here. We were all very tired and we were greeted with a hot meal, hot drink, and use of the communal bunks in the restroom, which we all needed very much. So we're all refreshed and ready to go. I'm still not 100%. I've got a very sore throat, runny nose, and a bit of a chest infection. So Vix is going to fly this flight today, and we are going to do something different. We're going to fly IFR, and we're going to aim to cruise at 17,000 feet. We do have a flight plan raised, and we are going to enjoy this one. The weather's very good. There's still a bit of turbulence in the air with all the recent storms that have hit the UK. So our destination is back to base at Birmingham International, which is Echo Golf Bravo Bravo. We have passengers today. We were in the canteen and I was listening into the general chatter, and I overheard two people at the next table saying they needed to get up to RAF Cosford for a presentation and they were struggling finding transport links. With the recent storms, the trains weren't running very reliably. So I know RAF Cosford is about 30-minute drive away from Birmingham. So I kindly interrupted and said, look, we're flying up to Birmingham. We've got space for you and your equipment. You're more than welcome to fly with us. Their eyes lit up and they gracefully accepted. And as a bonus, they said, well, we've got a £500 travel expenses budget. We'll give that to you for kindly helping us out. So great. We're not returning empty, which would have been a hit to the cash flow. So all's good. And the passengers and Vix are on board. So let's get in the plane and Vix can set it up and we can go. There's the equipment. Let's get that on board. Closed. Hello Vix. Hello again. Okay. Okay, covers off, tie downs, chocks off, we'll leave the ground power on. Okay Vix, appreciate you flying today. I'll be pilot monitoring. Any help I can give you, just let me know. Okay, as Vix is starting up the plane, I'll try and talk through what she's doing. Okay, so alternator and battery on. Taxi lights, nav and beacon lights on. Open the fuel valve. Fuel selector to both. Mixture rich, props in feather, I think Vix is ready to turn the key any second. Oh, someone's left a mess. We'll close that. Okay. Okay, props clear. Prop clear. Parking brake is on. Okay, this kind gentleman is going to give us a pushback shortly. So if you notice, Vix didn't turn the avionics on yet. I used to, and she said, not a good idea. If you have an electrical fault or a mechanical malfunction in the plane, you've wasted all that time setting the avionics up, so you might as well do it after the plane is running and you've checked all the temperatures and pressures. Makes sense. Okay, so Vix will disconnect the ground power shortly. The gauges all look okay. Okay, you should see, you should hear the TORS audible test in a second. Vix is requesting the ground power unit to be removed, disconnected. There we go. Okay, let's import the flight plan into the computer. You'll have to excuse my cough throughout this flight. I have got loads of throat sweets, cough medicine, water, herbal tea in a flask, so I'll try to keep my coughing and runny nose and other bodily sounds to a minimum. As you can see here, Vix is importing the flight plan into both the primary and secondary areas of the management system computer. The autopilot, if I'm correct, and please tell me in the comments if I'm not, the autopilot runs off the primary display. So what we do is we run the map display on here, as you can see there, and the secondary screen shows the flight plan information. Okay, gauges are all looking good, stable. Barometric pressure is set. I think we're ready to call air traffic. Oh no, Vix is going to set the flight identifier. This flight is Whiskey Lima Foxtrot 25004. Let's turn on our ADSB data. When I fly, I've listened to loads of pilots over the years, and some of the Americanisms creep into my dialogue, so quite often I'll say data instead of data and route instead of route. Okay. Okay, that's ready to go. Okay, tower is 122.1, and that's programmed in the comm radio. Speakers on. Okay, Vix has has asked me to call this in. We'll give it a go. Let's get a radio check first. Caldrose Tower, Golf Whiskey, Oscar Lima Foxtrot, request radio check, please.
Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot, Caldrose Tower, roger, readability 5.
Readability 5, Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot. Okay, radio check complete. Let's call in our IFR intentions. Caldrose Tower, Cessna 172, Golf Whiskey, Oscar Lima Foxtrot. It is an IFR flight to Birmingham International. Request taxi to active runway, Golf Whiskey, Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, taxi to runway 29er via Bravo.
Runway 29er via Bravo. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
Thanks, Vix. Okay, let's get this rolling. Okay, Vix. Any help you need, just let me know. Vix is going to test the flight controls, rudders, ailerons, elevators. All three looking good. Okay. Props to full. Let's clear the park and brake off, and Vix has signalled for pushback. As you can see from the windsock, wind is very light and it's showing at 1 knot, coming from 271 degrees. This is a very busy airbase. There's not much aircraft traffic at the moment. Vix's wave to end the pushback. Thank you very much. I'm just confused about the IFR comms. I'm wondering whether I needed to activate the flight plan. Vix has just said, ask the tower. Okay, this could be embarrassing, but let's ask. Caldrose Tower, Golf Whiskey, Oscar Lima Foxtrot. Do we need to activate our IFR flight plan with you, please? Vix is going to taxi to the runway.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, no need to activate with me. Your IFR flight plan is already active.
Calderos Tower, thank you very much. Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, you're welcome.
Turning on to taxiway Bravo. Throughout this flight, as pilot monitoring, I'm probably not going to have much to do, so I'll try and keep you informed of any places of interest or anything interesting we see en route, and I'll always leave links at the end of the video which I will post onto social media after we've successfully landed and I've had a chance to edit the footage. As a new channel, really appreciate if you can like, subscribe and share the content and the channel to promote us. That would be most appreciated. Okay, let's call the tower and say we're holding short. Vix has nodded for me to do. Okay, let's give it a go. Calderos Tower, Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot is holding short, runway 29. Try that again. Calderos Tower, Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot is holding short, runway 29 for departure. Okay, let's try again. Calderos Tower, Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot holding short, runway 29, ready for departure.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, runway 11, winds calm, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 11, cleared for takeoff. Cessna, Golf, Whiskey, Oscar, Lima, Foxtrot.
We're at runway 29. Vix, I'm going to challenge this. Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot to Calderos Tower. We are holding short runway 29. Please confirm active runway for takeoff, please.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, runway 11 is the active runway. Please taxi to runway 11 for departure.
Runway 11 for departure. Cessna, Golf, Whiskey, Oscar, Lima, Foxtrot.
Okay, let's turn around. Sorry about this in the back. Slight confusion there with the tower. Thankfully there was nobody lined up behind us. Where's that phone going? Maybe that's airport security wondering why we was going to runway 29. That's because that's where the tower told us to go. I think they're having a bit of fun with us. We did drink rather a lot of beverages in the canteen last night. The rest room watching reruns of 1980s TV programs. Rather funny. Maybe the person in the tower was the person that we beat at pool several times in a row. They must be having fun looking at us up there on the left from the tower with their binoculars, wondering how long it would take us to realise we were going towards the wrong runway. Our passengers are laughing, so they clearly were in on the joke, I think. Very funny. Okay, fuel is good. Temperatures and pressures good. I am going to get permission to cross runway 24 and 18. Gold Rose Tower, Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot, request permission to cross runways 24 and 18.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, cross runway 24 and runway 18 approved.
Crossing runway 24 and 18, Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, cross runway 18 approved.
I know. Vic, someone who asked what altitude they would initially like us at. Gold Rose Tower, Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot. What initial altitude would you like us to climb out on, please?
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, climb altitude 3,000 feet.
Climb to 3,000 feet. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
Thanks, Vix. Okay, Vix has just set the autopilot altitude to 3,000 feet. And our heading indicator is set to 110. Okay. I think we're going to stop here and do a quick run-up test. And then we can configure the plane for takeoff. Parking brake on. Flaps to 10 degrees. Check. Run-up test complete. Temperatures and pressures looking good. Okay. Landing lights on, fuel pump on. Taxi lights off. I think we're good to go. Let's call it in. Caldrose Tower, Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot, holding short, runway 11, ready for departure.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, runway 11, winds calm, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 11, cleared for takeoff. Cessna, Golf, Whiskey, Oscar, Lima, Foxtrot.
Okay, everybody's buckled in. Check of the flight controls, free and easy. I always love this bit. Okay, we're rolling. Speed is alive. Knots. Rotate. Positive rate. Laps up. Let's get the autopilot on. Strobe lights on. That's a beautiful takeoff, Biggs. Very nice.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, contact departure on 134.055.
Contacting departure on 134.055. Cessna, Golf, Whiskey, Oscar, Lima, Foxtrot. Caldrose departure. Cessna, Golf, Whiskey, Oscar, Lima, Foxtrot. Afternoon. Maintaining flight level 500.
Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar, Lima Foxtrot, Caldrose departure. I am not seeing your transponder. Confirm squawking 6122. Mode CI ident one more time for me. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar, Lima Foxtrot, Caldrose departure identified over Pulpitney Farm airstrip at 1500 feet. Heading 112, QNH 1013. Turn left heading 050, vectors to Dawley, then own navigation.
Heading 112 at 1500 feet. QNH 1013. Left heading 050. Vectors to Dawley, then own navigation. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
Okay, turning left.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, contact London Control on 126.08.
Switching to London Control on 126.08. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot. London Control, Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot. Afternoon, maintaining 1500 feet.
Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot, London Control identified. Hello there, husband. Cornwall QNH 1013.
Okay, so we have just passed a very historic site called Goonhilly Earth Station. This was a very important site and historic site because it was built in 1962 and it was designed to transmit live video broadcasts from around the world. And it received the first live television broadcast from the United States via the Telstar satellite on the 11th of July in 1962. And the radio satellites there are named after Arthurian legends, so we've got Arthur, Guinevere, Merlin. Very interesting. Sadly, I think the site closed in 2010, but there's plenty of information and photos about it on the interweb, the worldwide internet thing, and I'll leave links at the end of the video that I made from this. Turning right to intercept our flight plan. This is just adjusting the front. Our set altitude. I think we can request shortly a climb. Call in our flight request. Okay. Let me check first they've got our flight plan. London Control, Golf Whiskey, Oscar Lima Foxtrot. Can you please confirm you have our active flight plan?
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot. me.
London Control, A firm. Can I request flight level 170, Golf Whiskey, Oscar Lima Foxtrot?
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, climb flight level 170.
Climb flight level 170. Cessna Golf Whiskey, Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
Thanks, Vince. Gentle climb up to 17,000 feet. just passed a little village called Constantine, a little hidden gem, and it's about 5 miles southwest of Falmouth, which is a great place in itself. Constantine is named after Saint Constantine, a 6th century Cornish saint. I've driven and ridden on my motorbike around lots of places in the UK, but I've never been to this little village, so it's definitely on my list. And you'll find lots of beautiful little villages around Devon and Cornwall. It has the remains of a Norman church built around 1420 and 1480. Sorry, I am reading this from my tablet, so this isn't from memory, I'm not that skilled. Restoration work continued between 1859 and 1901. And the church was reopened in 1879. Does it say how many people lived here? As at the 2011 census, the population was 1,789. Wow, it's quite a big little village. There is an ancient Cornish cross dating to... No, that can't be right. It says 1896. No, that can't be right. Every year they hold a wrestling tournament on the bowling green. That sounds very eccentric. That's a village called Constantine. Sounds like it should be in the Mediterranean somewhere. Okay, we've just passed Falmouth, and again, Falmouth is a wonderful little place. A settlement was founded here in 1613, and tourism became very important to its economy. And it got its name because it's situated on the mouth of the river Foul mouth. Okay. I don't think that would have taken very long to decide around the committee table. And nearby is the remains of Pendennis Castle. Fantastic place to visit. And a very strategic location. Okay. Vix is just getting us out of stall. Well, not a stall, sorry. The stall warning call has come on. Okay, the autopilot has disconnected, so Vix is just recovering. to see here. Turbulence, I think. It happens. Nothing to worry about. Okay. Yep, I'll turn the landing lights off at 10,000 feet. Read some fascinating information about Falmouth, and it's well worth a read. I'll leave the link at the end. Of the video. Cornwall and Devon is famous for scrumpy cider, and it's really hard to not come to this part of the world without at least trying it once. Not recommended on an empty stomach because it can be quite strong. And scrumpy roughly translates to rough. The reason being it's literally made up of a selection of apples, and alcohol content isn't really a priority, so some of these homemade ciders are very strong, and literally you can drive down the lane past probably any farm in Devon, and you'll be able to stop and buy some scrumpy. Also about to pass over Plymouth. Which is about 193 miles southwest of London, and it's the most densely populated city in Devon. And it goes way back in history to the Bronze Age. And it was formerly named as Plymouth in 1439. And in 1588, an English fleet was based here which defeated the Spanish Armada. And it was also the departure point in 1620 for the Pilgrim Fathers going to settle in the New World. And 70 years later, in 1690, a dockyard was established on the River Tamar for the Royal Navy, and Plymouth became a commercial shipping port throughout the Industrial Revolution. Sadly, it suffered extensive damage in World War II, and a lot of rebuilding made the city look as it does today. So it's ranked as the 30th most populated built-up area in the UK, which I don't think is probably something to shout about, really. Lots more information about it on the internet, so I'll leave a link. just adjusted the mixture, leaned it a little bit. As the air thins out, we can get more air into the engine. As you can see, the engine speed has gone from, airspeed has gone from 80 knots and it's just approaching 95. Vic's told me before that the outside air temperature is just dropped below zero, so when you get to about 10,000 feet you want to be cleaning the mixture, get the most efficiency out of the engine. And as an example of it, we're now approaching 100 knots. Okay, let's turn the landing lights off. There we go. There's Plymouth below us. What a beautiful sunny day. Flying I've seen for at least half a day. Oh, and they've just teleported to another dimension. Oh, they're back. Oh, they've gone. So ahead of us and to our left for us, pretty much as far as the eye can see, is Dartmoor National Park. I love this part of the world. It's a different experience every time you come, especially if you're walking throughout the year. Each season just brings a whole different landscape. And you must have the right equipment. This is not a very nice place if you're not prepared, and it's why Dartmoor Prison is built. The few prisoners who did escape didn't last very long on the moors, especially in winter. It probably comes as no surprise that the military use it for training their troops, and there are many military firing ranges. So if ever you're driving down one of the country roads and you see red flags everywhere, that means there's live firing going on. And if you look at a map, you'll see loads of places with the word Tor in its name. And basically there's about more than 160 of these on Dartmoor, if I'm correct. I am going off memory here, so please excuse me if I'm wrong, please correct me. I'll always listen to comments in the chat if I am incorrect. So a tour normally is just a hill with a formation of boulders on the top, or a rocky outcrop. And also there's lots of rivers and bogs where you must take due care and attention, because you can get into some serious trouble if you fall into a bog. It's a bit like quicksand. If you like astronomy and looking at the sky, this is a wonderful place to come, because there's very little light pollution. And you'll often find randomly placed stone circles or standing stones, because throughout history our ancestors used the moors as a place of habitat and for farming. A very hardy people, clearly. And while we're on the topic of the moors, it leads me to one of my most liked books and films, The Hound of the Baskervilles by Arthur Conan Doyle, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Obviously the great detective Sherlock Holmes. If you've never read it, I recommend you do. I recommend it to be on anybody's bucket list. And obviously, if you're going to watch the film, watch it with Basil Rathbone, who I think was the perfect Sherlock Holmes. And I know I do get into a lot of healthy debate with people about this, but to me, he was the best Sherlock Holmes. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the silhouette of Basil Rathbone, I'm sure, was the image used to depict Sherlock Holmes. And if you're in the area, please go and visit Buckfastleigh, which is a great place for a couple of reasons. Firstly, Buckfastleigh Abbey, which is a working monastery. I can never remember whether it's the Cistercian or Benedictine monks, but it's well worth a visit. And they brew their own fortified wine, which you may have heard of, called Buckfast. I think I tried it once, very strong. And the second thing I like about, well actually there's another two things. First of all, if you're into trains, the steam railway that runs from Buckfast is wonderful. It's a great day out. And the second thing, in the churchyard at Buckfastleigh, you can't miss Richard Cabell, the tomb of Richard Cabell. He was a local lord of the manor, and back in the day, people were very superstitious. Well, I guess people are today in a way, but back then even more so. And it was a local legend that he was a vampire, and he would come out of his tomb and cause havoc in the local community. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately because I took some pictures and visited the tomb when it was in its original state, and the person that was carving the name of Richard Cabell on the side of the tomb didn't complete it. They got so frightened, and there was a large chunk broken away from the slab at the top, so that kind of further added to the legend that he would come out that night and cause havoc. And it could have been where Arthur Conan Doyle got his idea for the Hound of the Baskervilles, because the local legend was that as a vampire, Richard Cabell could shapeshift, and one of the things he was reputedly able to change into was the big black hound. So if you haven't read the book or seen the film, I won't say any more, I don't want to spoil it for you. Other than saying it was first published in 1901. And I've just read Buckfast Abbey is an active Benedictine monastery. There you go. Now here's a quiz question. Without using the internet, can you tell me what colour a Benedictine monk's robes were? It's possibly either black, brown or white. I can never remember which one. So if you can let me know, that'd be great. Okay, we're at 13,500 feet. Just watching our speed, we're at 90 knots. Obviously Vix is totally in control. Yep, passengers are comfortable. We are. We're just approaching Dawley waypoint. 2.5 miles away. And we're going to be heading pretty much a continuation of this direction. Just down there to our 10 o'clock is the city of the town of Exmouth, and this forms part of the Jurassic Coast. Lots of prehistoric remains of dinosaurs, and I think, if I remember correctly, they did find a cave with skeletons of our ancestors. I did go to a talk by Professor Alice Roberts, really fascinating, and she said this part of the country is inundated with ancient fossils, bones. And you can get boat trips up and down and around the bay. As I said earlier, this part of the country relies heavily on tourism, but it's so beautiful and well recommend a visit. So just in the distance there you can see the city of Exeter. It's a nice place, but like most cities in England, it's pretty much a carbon copy of any other city. But still worth a visit if you're in the area. To our right here, just from an aviation point of view, this is some heavily controlled airspace, lots of military activity as well as marine conservation zones. So we're passing just to the north of this controlled area. I said earlier that The Hand of the Baskervilles was one of my favourite books and films. Please let me know in the comments what your favourite books and films are. And also places to visit in this part of the country if you've had the pleasure of travelling this way. I'm always on the lookout for new books to read, new films to watch and new places to visit, so please help me out by letting me know in the comments what your favourites are. Alright, we're just about to approach our cruise altitude of 17,000 feet. I should be able to give you a more accurate ETA for our arrival at Birmingham International. So in military terms we are feet wet, which means we're flying over water, and surely as you can see there we'll be going feet dry as we pass over Weymouth there in the distance to our right at about 2 o'clock. A very popular holiday destination. I've been there once, very nice. Sitting by the beach with a nice cold drink of your favourite beverage. Mine is a pint of Guinness or a bottled water, depending on what time of day it is, of course. Altitude. Vix has monitored the instruments. I keep getting my words mixed up, apologies. This concoction of cough medicine, menthol nasal inhalers, cough sweets, manifesting in me having the inability to form simple words. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. I'm sure if you stick around for future videos you'll see that I occasionally get my words mispronounced. Okay, Vix has just adjusted our prop pitch to bring it down to about 2400 RPM. All the gauges look good. This plane is such a lovely plane to fly, so reliable and trusting, and it has performance as well. 210 horsepower engine, slightly modified over a standard Cessna 172. I know we're flying pretty much fully automated today with the autopilot, but if you're flying a VFR flight and you're hand flying it, this is a really nice plane. Being high wing, you get some beautiful visibility out of the side windows there. Pretty much all round good visibility. Sorry, I had to crouch down a little bit there. I'm 6'2", so okay, we're coming up to our next waypoint, EGGB. That's Golf India Bravo Sierra Oscar. We've still got 178 nautical miles to fly, which equates to about 2 hours, 15 minutes. So this part of the country we're about to pass over, I really haven't visited many places here, so I can't really tell you much about it. We're passing over Bournemouth and Southampton shortly, and I've been to neither of those places. I find it a bit disconcerting sometimes that we don't have much ATC comms, having used to VFR flights only, where you do maintain quite regular contacts with air traffic control and control sectors. With IFR, they know pretty much where you are and the flight plan you have, so unless they need to route you for weather or because there's a maybe possible conflict with another aircraft, it tends to be pretty quiet. And as you can see, there's not much aircraft in the vicinity, so yeah, sometimes can feel a little bit lonely up here. I used to play music through my headphones, but I kind of nowadays don't really feel comfortable doing that. It's nice to hear the plane and the engine, and keeping an eye on the instruments and keeping focused. If I've got music on, especially a really good song I like, I tend to kind of drift off and focus on where I am and what I'm doing. So it's the same when I'm riding a motorbike as well. I've got good friends of mine who will play music while they're riding, and I can't do that. I like to listen to the sound of the engine, and normally when I'm carrying my wonderful lady as a passenger, I like to be able to talk through the intercom, and occasionally I can hear her snoring on the back if it's a nice hot sunny day and we're cruising around the country lanes, especially when we're in a group of riders. The gauges are looking good. I sometimes feel tempted to tap the fuel gauge. It just looks like it never moves. It clearly is using fuel. But yeah, just coming up to half a tank. Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot, request a radio check please.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, reading you 5x5.
5-5, Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot. Victor's just said I didn't need to reply unless ATC wanted a radio check from me. Duly noted. We have some airspace.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, contact London Control on 134.44.
Contacting London Control on 134.44. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar.
That's interesting. That sounds very coincidental.
London Control, Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar, Lima Foxtrot, afternoon, maintaining flight level 170.
Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar, Lima Foxtrot, London Control identified. Hi there.
Friendly chap. Okay, 33 miles. We'll be at the Southampton VOR, and we will start to head northeast. Speed is 128 knots, so it does pay to fly a little bit higher on a long cruise. Especially when the weather's quite nice. So apparently the frequency for Southampton VOR is 113.35. but in the age of GPS technology, I would obviously know how to fly using analog controls, DME, distance measuring equipment, and VORs. I kind of understand the basics. Obviously, I don't want to mess about too much with the avionics on this plane during the flight. It's nice to be awake for the whole flight. The last flight we had down to Culdrose Navy, I was asleep for most of it. So during these quiet parts of the flight, if you do have any questions while you're watching the video, please feel free to ask away, and any sensible questions I'll try and give a sensible answer. Just in case you don't know, FWF Air, FWF stands for Flying with Friends, and as my cash flow increases, the plan is to increase the number of pilots flying for the company, and obviously to buy some airframes. This Cessna 172 is leased, so I'm renting this plane. So yes, the first plan is to buy an aircraft and then have some pilots who can fly charter jobs as and when. So I'll be looking out for pilots soon to come and join the company and help out. Let me know if you're interested. Miles to our turn. Sorry for those noises, this chair is a bit creaky. I'm gonna have to get some oil on it. I said I hadn't been to Southampton. That's a little untruth. I have been to Southampton, a flying visit to take the ferry and go over to the Isle of Wight for a holiday. So apologies, I have been to Southampton, just not for a very long stay there. And that leads me to a funny story. While I was on the Isle of Wight, I took my sports car and we went over on the ferry. And it's such a nice, relaxing place. And yes, it was a Sunday. So one day we went out for a drive round and it happened to be a Sunday. Very quiet, relaxing, roads were quiet. And we're driving through a little village, and all of a sudden things got a bit noisy as my exhaust decided to fall off, and the quiet Sunday morning soon became a very noisy Sunday morning, and people were looking disapprovingly as I was driving past. I didn't know where anything was, so I managed to stop and ask some people walking their dog, can you tell me please where the nearest garage is? And thankfully they knew somewhere that was probably open on a Sunday, so I drove the few miles with my exhaust hanging off, and thankfully the garage, of which I won't give their name, but they're a very national company specialising in exhausts and other car parts. They managed to fix me up with a new exhaust system, so all was quiet again on the beautiful island of Wight. And it just so happened that the speedboat racing was on, and there was also a festival, so we got to see some great music and some speedboat action. I must go back again. It was very nice that. Obviously I'll make sure whichever vehicle I take, I'll make sure the exhaust is not going to fall off. Let me know if you had any holiday mishaps involving motor vehicles. Thankfully I've never run out of fuel. I don't think I would be too happy with myself if I did. I used to have a Ford Capri and the fuel gauge wasn't working, so I kind of had to set the trip meter and kind of roughly work out how much fuel I had for the journey. And I was always carrying some spare fuel in a can in the boot. Not the safest thing to do really, but I did not want to run out of fuel. Okay, 6 miles to the turn. Our next waypoint is Pepys, Papa Echo Papa Indigo Sierra. Airspeed is holding steady at 94 knots, ground speed 127 knots. This plane, it's got a sunroof. How cool is that? Okay, 2 miles to the turn. There's Southampton.
Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar, Lima Foxtrot, London Control. Expect the Silver 1 Bravo arrival. Descent in about 20 minutes. Say the word if you want to descend sooner.
Expecting the Silver 1 Bravo arrival. Descent in about 20 minutes. We'll let you know if we need to descend earlier. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
About 40 miles northeast of us is London Heathrow, and also halfway between us and London Heathrow is Farnborough, so we've got some very busy airports. And also probably to 3 o'clock at about 40 miles is Gatwick. I would expect even on a quiet day like today, to see some commercial airliners coming in and taking off. So the conversation Vix has just had with London Control ties in with our flight plan. We've gone for the Silv 1B arrival. That's all programmed in ready. And it's good to hear that air traffic control are allowing us to do that arrival. Miles from our next waypoint, and we'll then head on the same heading to Tabern, Tango Alpha Bravo Echo November, and then shortly after that is Norrie, November Oscar Romeo Romeo Yankee. So just from memory, London City Airport is not controlled on site. It's actually the tower is remotely controlled, if I'm correct, from a remote station. I think it's been working quite well from the aviation news that I've read. I've got no objection to using technology that works like that. I'm a bit old-fashioned. I think seeing a control tower and knowing that the person you're talking to is actually at that location, I think I would have a little bit more confidence than knowing the person who's guiding me in is sat 200 miles away looking at a television screen that's showing live camera feed. But maybe that's just me. It does take me a long time to embrace new technology, but when I do, I'm a big fan. Although, one of the things I'm not a big fan is automated checkouts at supermarkets. But don't get me started on that. There's been a little bit of turbulence on this journey, but nothing that's too much cause for concern. I think flying at this altitude, it does make the flight seem a little mundane and boring, but to be honest, with passengers on board, I think this is the preferred option. If we were flying 1500 feet in a VFR situation, it'd be more scenic and exciting for us flying the plane, but maybe not for the passengers, unless they specifically requested the bit of sightseeing. I'd have no problem with that. The problem with this long journey and also the route we're taking, we are flying through quite a few controlled zones. So flying at a lower altitude especially in the flight paths towards busy airports like London Heathrow, could be quite hard work, and obviously we'd use a lot more fuel. So as a business, we wouldn't have made much money on this flight. And this plane is perfectly capable of flying at 70,000 feet, as you can see here, so... And it's good for the environment. I'm a bit of an eco-warrior. I don't want to burn more fuel than I have to. But that's a challenge I'm willing to take, actually, thinking about it. So, going forward, one of the criteria when I look at another plane, the next plane that FWF Air will buy, have a look at the environmental aspects. Can I get a more environmentally friendly plane in terms of how it was built, where all the parts come from, and how environmentally friendly the engine is. I try to do the same with my motorbike and cars. So why not planes? Alright, 2 miles to the next waypoint, Norrie, and then we're on the same heading to Cowley. So we're starting to get into an area that I am more familiar with. About 20 miles to our northeast is High Wycombe, and there's an amazing tourist location called the Hellfire Caves. I'm probably going to forget to put that link in the video, so feel free to Google it, and it's well worth a visit. I won't spoil it by saying anything more about it. Obviously feel free to let me know in the comments if you have been there, and I can let you know about my experiences of visiting there, which is probably 4 or 5 times now. Fascinating place. About 20 miles northwest of us is the fantastic city of Oxford. Wonderful place to visit. You can take a trip down the river in one of the kind of Venetian boats being punted, normally by somebody who's studying at the university. Or you can have a go yourself if you're up for the challenge. Personally, I wouldn't do that, having seen how most people who think they can do it fail miserably and end up either running into the bank or hitting another boat. So I would leave it to the professionals. It's also very funny on when the university students are graduating, seeing them in all their robes and splendour, and then after the formal ceremony walking around the city with bottles of champagne and having a lot of fun. That's quite exciting and fun to see. And why not? So in about 15 miles we're going to be at top of descent, so Vix will probably call control to request a descent as we approach the silver waypoint, which is Sierra Indigo Lima Victor Alpha. ever you drive down this way and you're on the motorway, if you're lucky, you'll occasionally see a military aircraft with the rear door open, and then all of a sudden 20, 30, 40, what seems like a lot more than that, paratroopers jump out and they're practicing their parachute jumps. It's a bit strange to see at first, but if you're a regular traveller on the motorway in this area, you'd soon get used to that. Okay, just to our left is RAF Benson. RAF Benson. A really nice runway layout. 3 runways in the form of a triangle. I think that's very efficient. Okay. 11 miles to our next waypoint, and then we'll be turning left, heading northwest, ready to approach Birmingham International. It's nice to have had the sun behind us, so we didn't need to put down the anti-glare screens, sun shields. Sorry, Bix, I'll stop messing about. Before I go quiet, obviously as we enter sterile cockpit during our descent, just let you know of a couple of other places of interest nearby. We passed earlier the Bovington Tank Museum. Fascinating area. I've never actually been to the museum, but you'll drive around the roads and you'll see the warning signs for tank crossings, and then you'll see the mud all across the road. Never actually seen a tank crossing the road, but I will visit one day and hopefully we'll see that. Also, we're going to come up and pass Warwick and world famous Warwick Castle. Well worth a visit if you've never been. And also nearby Stratford-on-Avon, the birthplace and home of William Shakespeare, who's also buried in the church. So really recommend a nice trip round Stratford-on-Avon, especially on a hot summer's day. Okay, I'm going to go quiet now as we prepare for our descent and approach into Birmingham International. Obviously, when I say I'm going to go quiet, I'll still go through Any checklist that Vix needs me to follow? Or I'll let you know of any procedures she's asked me to help with. Okay, Vix is just programming in the arrival procedure. Silv 1B.
Cessna, Oscar Lima Foxtrot, descend altitude 3000, QNH 1013.
Descending to 3000, QNH 1013. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
Sort the descent out first. Okay. So we don't know what our runway is yet. We're hoping it's ILS 15.
Cessna, Oscar Lima Foxtrot, contact Birmingham approach on 123.9 H.
Switching to Birmingham approach on 123. Birmingham approach, Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot. Good afternoon. We're descending through flight level 160 down to 3000.
Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar, Lima Foxtrot, Birmingham approach. Identified. Expect the ILS, runway 15, approach into Birmingham.
Expect the ILS approach runway 15 into Birmingham. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
Okay, so as expected, ILS runway 15. Vectors, so Vix will leave that as is. We can load the approach. Good. Passengers have got their seatbelts on. Temperatures and pressures are looking good. Okay, airspeed 87 knots. 700 feet per minute descent, just passing 12,000. Okay, approaching 10,000 feet. Landing lights on. Passing through 9,000 feet. Okay, mixture to rich. So I assume we will either get vectors shortly, or we can activate our approach. Looks like it's going to be a nice sunset.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, vectors for the ILS runway 15 approach.
Okay, just passing through 6,000 feet. Fuel pump on. Descending through 4,000 feet. There's Warwick Castle to our left. They're shining some whizzy Batman type beacon in the air so you can see it. I know I shouldn't talk sociably in a sterile cockpit, but Vix has got it all under control. That sun is going down very fast. I think it's going to be dark in half an hour. Passing through, holding at 3,000 feet. Warwick Castle. concerned we're not getting vectors. Okay, let's call it in. Birmingham approach, Golf Whiskey, Oscar Lima Foxtrot, request vectors for ILS runway 15.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, turn right heading 340, vectors for the ILS runway 15 approach.
Right heading 340. Vectors for the ILS runway 15 approach. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
Right, turning right heading 340. I think ATC were very busy, but we were getting very close to the ILS for runway 33, and we definitely didn't want to cross that area of controlled airspace. Okay, temperatures and pressures are looking good. The skies have been very quiet this flight.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, turn left heading 320.
Left heading 320. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
The runway ahead of us there. So we'll probably get another vector change in a minute, turning right, just to get us into a nice downwind pattern. Clearly looking around, it's very quiet today. Very quiet at this moment in time anyway.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, turn right heading 345.
Right heading 345. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
I'm glad that vector came through. We were getting very close to the runway line, and there is, as you can see, a plane on approach. If that plane had to do a go around, we'd be right in the way, so I'm glad we came over to the right of it. touchdown.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, turn left heading 320.
Left heading 320. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar, Lima Foxtrot.
Activate ILS. Busiest bit of sky I've seen all flight.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, 2 miles from CF-15, turn left heading 255 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS, runway 15 approach. Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot, contact Birmingham Tower on 118.305.
Left heading 255 until established on the localizer. Birmingham International Airport Tower. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot. Good afternoon. We're established on the ILS approach for runway 15.
Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot, Birmingham International Airport Tower. Roger. Continue approach for runway 15.
Laps 10. Set. Okay, ILS and glide slope intercepted.
Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar, Lima Foxtrot, Birmingham International Airport Tower, winds 190 at 7, runway 15 cleared to land.
Runway 15, cleared to land. Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar, Lima Foxtrot.
Budget airlines always want to get there quicker. Established. Happy's 2 whites, 2 reds. Everything's looking good. Passing through 1,000 feet. disengage. Beautiful and smooth. Okay, let's turn right here. Taxi lights on.
Cessna Oscar Lima Foxtrot. Welcome to Birmingham. Contact ground on 121.805.
Contacting ground on 121.805. Birmingham International Airport ground, Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot, cleared of runway 15, good afternoon, ready to taxi to the gate.
Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot, Birmingham International Airport ground, taxi to parking via Lima Juliet. Good day.
Parking via Lima Juliet, Cessna Golf Whiskey Oscar Lima Foxtrot.
Okay, Lima Juliet it is. Okay, Juliet is to the right. There's enough room for us next to these two big jets, Swiss Air and Lufthansa. Park here on the grass. Sorry about that, passengers. This is where ground wanted us. I think we should go and get a coffee. Nice flying, Vix. Really appreciate that.